cares about the very success of each person that he meets. So he doesn't take it for granted that you have tuned in, that you continue to come back, and that our first-time callers have found out about Motivational Monday Nights with Les Brown and his platinum speakers. We want to wish all the mothers and everyone who gives love and nurtures a happy continued celebration of Mother's Day. I'm on the committee, hashtag Mother's Days every day. So I am thrilled that you all are joining us tonight and you are part of this experience. Mr. Brown actually had to board a plane to Tokyo, and he is out there inspiring lives on the other side of the globe. And when he's traveling, if you've tuned in before, you know that occasionally there will be a platinum speaker, and those of us that work with him as part of his platinum speakers group, we have the very distinct privilege of being able to interact and bring messages of hope. That's what this call is about. That's what Les Brown is building. 100,000 voices of hope all across the globe. Those who are committed to making sure that the greatness that lies inside of them is able to come out and touch others, and we can pay it forward. And how about making greatness go viral? So tonight, I am thrilled because he said, Stacie, I have you on special assignment. I'm not going to be able to be on the call on Monday, but I heard that you brought a message the other week, and some people were calling me, and I want you to talk a little bit more about what it was that you shared. And I want you to be able to give a message to our listening audience that inspires them to continue to walk in that greatness. Now, that's a tall order, ladies and gentlemen, because none of us can fill Mr. Brown's shoes, but we do our best to bring to you the things that we've learned, the things that we know that are proven strategies of success that will help you on your path and your journey. See, you're attracted to this call, and you've come to this call if you saw it on YouTube, if you saw it on Facebook, and you said, wow, Les Brown has a motivational Monday night call. Let me tune in. That already tells me that we're cut from the same cloth. And if you've been on this call Monday after Monday, just waiting to see, well, who's going to speak tonight, or what is Mr. Brown going to bring this evening, then you know you're in the right place. We are individuals who are connected by the fabric of self-improvement, of self-discovery, and mastery in the things that we are trying to accomplish on this globe. So there's no accident. We are here together for a reason, for this space and this time. And I am just honored to be able to share a few moments with you. And I want to talk tonight particularly about something that's very near and dear to me. All across the world, everyone was celebrating Mother's Day for those countries that celebrate, and celebrate the fact that there was somebody who had to physically bring us into this world, and we want to celebrate the fact that they exist. And when I think about the whole concept and idea of mothers, as I said before, hashtag Mother's Days every day, especially for those mothers who wanted to sleep yesterday and they didn't get a chance to do it. But when I think about mothers and the idea of giving life, it's a special place that mothers have, but it doesn't leave the fathers out, because there are fathers who are functioning as that mother role and raising children on their own and nurturing and taking care. But I just want to talk about the concept of why holding up and celebrating those that nurture you, that feed your soul, that tap into your spirit, that make you feel like you can conquer the world, just like when you tune in and you hear Mr. Brown's voice, or you hear the voices of us platinum speakers who are calling to you and touching something that you already have lying inside your being that just needs a small tip of activation. Mother's Day is very special to me because I'm blessed to be able to have my grandmother still here. And some of you that have heard me before, you followed my work, you know that my platform is dedicated to my grandmother, who is 97 and a half years old. And to understand that I can't even imagine 9 decades ago what it meant for her to be able to have a family of 7 children and then raise 3 others and then come to a different country and build a legacy for her family and inspire the younger generations that are coming to do more. Can you think about the person or persons in your life that you look to and just admire for the fact that they were able to chart a course, particularly those who were able to bring life into the world, the mothers, the grandmothers, the aunts, the godmothers, those who have been a champion for you. Those who believed that there was going to be a bigger dream, a bigger accomplishments, goals and dreams that they might have had that they couldn't necessarily act on, but they sacrificed so that those of us on this call tonight could live a different life. Those who turned down opportunities for immediate self-gratification in their lives so that they could educate children, so that they could send children off to school, so they could build small entrepreneurial endeavors that would turn into business. Can you think about, can you reflect on anyone in your life right now who represents that to you? It doesn't have to be as elaborate as Steve Jobs building Apple and the Macintosh computer. It might be someone who was just selling the best lemonade on the block, or making sweet potato pies, or creating some jewelry or something that they were able to make ends meet. But they used that wisdom, they used that ingenuity to pave the way for the generations that came after. When I think on that, and I get so inspired when I think about the many stories that never make it to CNN, the many stories that never make it necessarily to a book, the many stories of those who sacrificed so much so that we could have and experience the life that we do today. Albeit the challenges that come with it, the good times that we enjoy, or that space in the middle where we're growing to that next best version of ourselves. See, it was my grandmother who gave me the pillar and the foundation on which I stand today. As a little girl, curious about life, I used to ask her a lot of questions, and I used to just sit and listen at the feet of wisdom. And sometimes when we're younger, we really don't understand the stories and the lessons that we hear because we're just too busy wanting to play. And Lord knows I sure love to play. But there was one day in particular that stood out for me. And that day was the day when I was questioning myself. And I was questioning my worth. I don't know if any of you out there can relate. Have you ever been in a space where you started to question your ability to do? And you can fill in the blank, whether that's to get the promotion on the job, whether that's to start your own business, whether that's to pursue the relationship of your dreams, whether that's to start a community movement, whatever that thing is. Did you ever doubt that you could do it? Did you ever feel as if, I don't think I measure up enough. I don't think I have what it takes. I'm not pedigreed. I don't have all the degrees. I don't have everything that the other people have for me to be successful. Well, I don't know if you've ever been in that space, but I was in that space at a young age, and I wasn't quite sure that I was measuring up. And I went to my grandmother, who I was fortunate to have at that time in my life, living in a 3-family home with us. And I said, Grandma, you know, there's this play at school, and I really want to be in it. I want to get the starring role, but I'm not the most popular girl. I'm not the prettiest girl. Forget about it, Grandma. I don't think I'll be lucky enough to get casted. And that's when she turned and she looked at me and she put her hands on her hip and she said, Luck? Luck not have nothing to do with it. Courage and will, perseverance and skill. These are the 4 leaves of luck's clover. Now, if you heard me share this before, you know I didn't know a thing about what a clover was. I said, Lord, have mercy. These old people are constantly giving me these sayings that I don't understand. So like everything we did, I heard something else. But courage and will, perseverance and skill, those stayed with me. And as I think about celebrating mothers and think about celebrating legacies, I think about celebrating what she did with so much less, it invites me to really go deeper in the conversation of pursuing our greatness. When Mr. Brown tells you there's greatness inside of you, he's not just saying it because it's something that you've heard him say. He's saying it because he believes and knows. And I used to wonder, why do you say that all the time, Les? Why do you keep telling everybody there's greatness inside of them? And the reason is that we all have it, but we all don't activate and touch and tune in to the station that says, yes, I can. See, I needed that station at 9 years old when I asked that question to my grandmother. When I said those words to her, she came back with courage and will, perseverance and skill. These are the 4 leaves of Lux Clover. Courage, this word, this state of being, of understanding that we're going to face some things. We're going to face some challenges in life, but the courage to take that next step, just like Martin Luther King Jr. says, faith is taking that first step without seeing the staircase. That's really where courage is built up. You know, I talked in that first product I created with the 4 leaves of Lux Clover about going to Liberty Science Center with my children, and they were much younger. And there was an exhibit that required you to walk across a very thin beam like the construction workers have to do when they're building these skyscrapers, and you have to put on all of this equipment and you have to sign a waiver. It's a whole process. And I remember stepping up, and my youngest son, who is just a little daredevil, he just jumped on and, I'm ready, Mommy, I'm going, and he went. And then my oldest son went, and then my husband went, and I'm the only one standing on the other side of the beam, and I'm saying, oh, boy, how am I going to do this? Because I'm feeling like a big chicken. I wasn't feeling too courageous at that moment. And they're down on the bottom. Mommy, come on. Mommy, you can do it. Mommy, come on, come on. You can do it. And inside of me, I wanted to just pass out. I wanted the floor to just open up and swallow me up because there was no way on God's green earth that I wanted to walk across that beam, even with all the artillery, even with everything strapped on top of me. The idea that I would take that step and not know if I would fall and not know what was going to happen, it was driving me crazy. But in that moment, I had to dig deep. I had to go somewhere else to hold on to the little ounce, the itty-bitty ounce of courage that I was feeling to make it happen. And sometimes in life, we're going to be at that point. We're going to be at the tip of the beam, and we're going to have to take that next step. We're going to have to talk to that client that we need to speak to. We're going to have to start actually writing the book. We're going to have to invest in that piece of real estate. We're going to have to introduce ourselves to that potential new relationship. We're going to have to do something. But in order for you to get there, you have to build up your courage meter. That's what I call it, your courage meter. What can you do to move the needle when it comes to your level of courage? See, that gift of the 4 leaves of Lux Clover, that's what I'm sharing with you tonight. And we're going to go through those 4 leaves because courage is the first part. It's feeling the fear and doing it anywhere. It's understanding that fear will happen. We all of us, unless we tell a lie, experience a moment where there's a little bit of hesitation, where there's a little bit of reservation. We're going towards our dream, when we're building maybe a multi-level marketing organization and we're not quite sure we can do it, or we can hit the goal, or we can sell enough of our programs, or we can go for that promotion on our job. And we have to be able to dig deep inside ourselves to settle in on our courage meter, giving us the strength to take the next step. Now, when I took that first step on the beam, I was shaking like a leaf. And I'm hearing them cheering downstairs, come on, you can do it, you can do it. And the sweat was dripping off of me. And I'm taking the next step. But as I started to get halfway through, I could breathe. And I took another breath. And sometimes you're going to have to just stop and breathe. Breathe through what you're going through. Breathe through the moment. The joy of the journey is in the struggle to get to the other side. Because once you get to the other side, you can help the next person coming behind you. So the ability to build your courage, the ability for you to dig deep inside of you to hold on to the reason why. See, that courage meter just doesn't go up on its own. It has to be encouraged by something. There has to be something attached to the act of courage. There has to be something inside of you that's going to connect you to the reason why you must move forward, the reason why you cannot quit, the reason why others are depending on you. They're cheering for you, just like my children were and the people in the Liberty Science Center saying, you can do it. That's what the voices you hear on this Motivational Monday Night Call stand for. That's what Mr. Brown is here for. That's what I'm here for. That's what Anita's here for. That's what everybody that comes on this call is here to do, is to be a part of that cheering squad that is helping your courage meter to rise, that is helping you to take that next step, that's helping you to move forward with your goals and your dreams and not wait until a more convenient time. Because the minute you start moving, the minute you start stretching out your hands towards the thing that you are seeking, it will rise up and meet you because it's also seeking you. So how do you get that courage meter up? I want you to just write this down. The fastest way to increase the productivity of your courage meter is to never forget why failing is not an option. Never forget why failing is not an option. What's the worst that can happen? You just learn a new way to do it. You learn a new way to go around it. But that courage, the more you take a step, the more you move forward, that courage meter just begins to rise. Think of a thermometer and think of every single degree going a little higher. Take one step, a little higher. Take another step, a little higher. And then before you know it, you'd have crossed over that particular area in your life. Just like I had to cross over that beam. It wasn't easy, and I was shaking all the way through. But at the end of the day, you will get to the other side. And that ties into the will. The will to do it. It takes a very special person to want to improve oneself. It takes a very special person to want to start a business. It takes a very special person to want to rise through the ranks of leadership on a job. It takes a very special person to want to invest in real estate. It takes a very special person to want to create a community program. It takes a very special person to realize that their life is not just about going through, it's about growing through, and that the will to want to do more, to leave a legacy. That's ultimately what we're striving towards. That's ultimately the thing that connects us each and every week, is that we want more. We want the things that will help us develop the very best of who we are so that we can bring that to the entire marketplace. So the will to do it, just the desire to get it done. What wisdom my grandmother shared with me. Les was talking one day with a group of us, and he was explaining how he was fascinated by what he learned on America getting to the moon, and how there was a whole big discussion on how we were going to get there, and someone was advising the president, and the president said there were 5 words that he was told, that the way that the United States of America would get to the moon is the will to do it. The will to do it. 5 little words took us to the moon. The will to do it. Not just the technology, not just the right ships and the right astronauts and the right information, but the will to do it. See, if you have the will to accomplish your goals, if you have the will to not give up when it gets hard, if you have the will to keep pushing past the inconveniences that show up to test really how much you want it, you will succeed. The will to do it is that place, is that space inside of you that makes you jump up in the middle of the night with an idea that you want to write down. It's that thing that makes you get up early in the morning to start working before everybody else does so that you can master your craft. The will to do it is that thing that allows you to keep coming back again and again and again and again, even when it hurts. You know, when I think about the will to do it, it just reminds me of sports in a way. And for all those sports fans, you know, when you're preparing for a game, the coach is getting all the players in the right mindset, and the coach is talking to them about winning and about dominating and about making sure that when they show up, whether it's on the basketball court, whether football field, or softball field, whether it's on a tennis court, whether it's on the golf course, that you show up ready to win. But it's the will, it's the desire to win. It's the desire to dominate. It's the desire to bring the best of who you are to the game that has you visualizing winning before the final score. So think about the areas in your life right now that you might have to turn up the courage meter, that you might have to extend the will so that you can get to the next part of that four-leaf clover, which is perseverance. Now, this is the sweet spot for me because you can't have a testimony without a test. You can't go through the victory without dealing with whatever has presented itself to test your resilience. So that perseverance, that ability to keep pushing, to keep speaking life, to keep organizing your footsteps towards the greatness that you have been challenged to give to the world is how you get to the other side. When I think about the fact that one of my favorite stories, and it's because I'm just fascinated by his life, Steve Jobs, he was actually in a position of living the life that the parents who adopted him had in store, to go to college and to get a good job and to be able to be successful. And he said something that just really stuck with me the first time I heard him give a live commencement speech. And it was, he dropped out initially out of college because it wasn't exciting him. It just, something there wasn't resonating. And then he dropped in. That's the key. He said he dropped in at Reed College for another 18 months where he studied calligraphy and some of the other programs and subjects that he took that ultimately gave him the inspiration to build the company that we now know as Apple. But he did not have an easy road. You know, he was sleeping on the floor in friends' rooms, trying to go to these classes, trying to learn information, and then he was building it out of his garage, and it wasn't easy, but he kept sticking to it because he loved and enjoyed the discovery of what he was learning and how it was ultimately going to change the way we all interface with technology today. And when he actually got it up and running, he got fired from his own company. Well, who does that? But that could have been something to stop him. He could have just ended right there and said, well, you know, I co-founded and built this very successful company. It's not quite working out, so I'm just going to throw my hands up in the air and that's it. But he didn't give up. He kept doing the thing that he loved. What is it that you love? What is it that you are working on? What is it that you are like, okay, I hear you, Stacie. I can get to that courage meter. I can push it up, and I can position myself to be around people who will keep it elevated. I'm clear about the will. I'm clear about the reason why, but there's just too much coming at me at one time. There's just too much happening. I don't know if I'm cut out for this. I don't know if I can really do this, but I tell you, you can. You can do hard. You've been there before. We've all been in a place where we've had to push past something that was inconvenient. And if you haven't had anything happen to you yet, well, just keep living. Because something is sure to show up. But the ability to persevere, the ability that he had to say, even in the midst of such a public, what could have been complete embarrassment and ruin of his career, that he was fired from Apple. He went on to create 3 other companies and then ultimately ended up back at Apple because the technology was bought by the company and they needed him back. And ultimately, we know the rest of the story and how he's changed the world and how we communicate, because he did not quit when the going got tough. He didn't stop when he had what could have been a major landmine in his career. He stayed true to what he loved. And that's where we have to be constant. We have to persevere, because we are the only ones that have been given our assignment. As I listen to the voices and the new callers and the excited individuals who are on this line, who are building businesses, someone who met Mr. Brown on the radio and was building a new company or idea that was getting ready to go out into the marketplace, that kind of excitement, that kind of thrill about, well, I'm just tuning in because I want to do something. I'm not sure what I want to do yet, but you know what? I feel it. You know, Stacie, it's in me, and I can't rest. Being on my 9 to 5, it's paying the bills and it's doing what it needs to do, but I want a promotion, or I'm ready to make a turn and I'm ready to start my own company. I'm ready to share my own voice. I want people to know what I have and how I can impact their lives. That is the area that you'll be tested the most. And if you can persevere, just like Steve Jobs did, through the inconvenient pieces and portions of our lives, if you can stay the course and not quit before our blessing, imagine the possibilities that lie on the other side. Imagine the possibilities of the numerous individuals who took great risks on their goals and their dreams. But my bet is on you, that you have what it takes, that you can get through to the next stage, that you can do this thing called life, that if you stay connected to those who are speaking the same language, those who are talking about improvement and development, then you'll be able to utilize the last leaf of this clover, which is skill. You can't have one without the other. We are building on the courage, the will, the perseverance, but it's the skill that we continue to grow and develop that will anchor our success. It's the skill that will set you apart from anybody else who might be doing something similar, but they can't do you the way you can do you. It's the skill that will allow you the competitive edge on how you sharpen your sword daily and how that you present yourself as an authority and as an expert in the gifting that you are giving the world. It is the skill that you invest in learning how to maneuver new technology, new information, new material that will allow you to bring the best of who you are to the marketplace. When you think about all of the masters, all of the experts, no one stops learning. No one sits back on their laurels and says, I have arrived, and there's no more to be done. Everybody that has reached a level of mastery continues to do the work on a daily basis. When you think about someone like Mr. Brown, he could stop. He'd never have to touch another microphone again. His name is already engraved in the greats, in the legends of public speaking, the personal growth and development, author, trainer, coach. It's there. He's in the Hall of Fame, but every day he's working on his story. He's working on his craft. He is speaking to audiences literally around the world because he is a master of his craft. So that requires the development of skill set. When you think about an Oprah Winfrey who has amassed one of the highest levels of achievement in media, she still invests in learning technology, being a part of bringing that to her platform, and continuing to grow in the way that she is developing as a person, even at her level of success. When you think about those who are at the top of their game in sports, they just don't sit back and go eat a couple of Snicker bars and a whole jug of juice. No, they stay working out. They stay physically ready to compete on the field, just as we have to stay physically and mentally ready to compete in the field of life. And that is how we work on our skill. That is how we work on the things that we need to sharpen, master, learn, and invest in so that we can bring the best of who we are to the marketplace. See, luck just doesn't happen. We have to create it. And that is the gift that my grandmother gave me. That was the gift of knowing that someone who nurtured a mother, who did not have resources and capabilities that some of her future generations would have, knew that those simple words would be profound ways of living, that I am not the only one that would benefit from it, but using them to create a platform that can shape and inspire and create a shift in the lives of those that I work with. See, when I think about celebrating life, when I think about celebrating, as I said before, those who did so much with so little, those who brought life into this world to give us opportunity and chances, how do we honor that legacy? Well, I say to you, this is your time. This is your moment. This is your space to utilize this gift that I'm sharing with you, that was shared with me by my grandmother, the courage and will, perseverance and skill to create for yourself the life that was intended for you. There's no accident that you're on this call. There's no accident that you're connected to Mr. Brown. There's no accident that we are interacting tonight, because somebody is feeling in their heart and in their spirit that these words were designed for you, that you needed a reminder, not that it was new material or information you may have never heard, but that you needed to activate what was sitting dormant. You needed a reminder about the very thing that you need to raise your courage meter on, so that you can focus on the will. You can persevere through the challenges, and you can develop the skill set necessary for you to bless all of us with your gifting. Now is the time. As my dear friend Susan Taylor would say, the future will be. We cannot rush or delay it, but we create it by how we live and experience each moment. Honor the legacy of those who came before you as you think about those who brought life in your family from generation to generation, that allow you the seat where you sit right now. As you think about the inspiration that you glean from those who have struggled to get their gifting out to the world. When you think about the fact that there are many people who started off this year but are not here with us May 11, 2015. When you think about what it means to breathe in and breathe out and just be grateful, I want you to use those 4 leaves of Lux Clover as my gift to you, and know that what you're seeking, I promise you, it is also seeking you, but it's going to require you to do a little work. And if you do the work, and if you stay the course, and if you don't quit before your blessing, you too will be one of the 100,000 voices of hope that will inspire this world and our global community to live up to the greatness that resides in all of us. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to pause for a moment, catch my breath, how about that? And just see if any of what I said has resonated with you in a way that you can use these 4 leaves, that you can take action with it. And here's the deal. If I open up the call, I want to hear specifically what you plan to do as of tonight. Not just be inspired to take action, but what action will you take? Because that is the last part of the secret sauce. If we can get the information, We can listen to Dr. Stacie N.C. Grant all day. We can listen to Mr. Les Brown. We can listen to Anita Hicks. We can listen to Dwight Pleasure. We can listen to Oprah Winfrey, President Obama, whoever your choice is, and feel great and inspired and invigorated. And if we don't do anything, then it's all for naught. So what specific action are you going to take as a result of our time that we spent tonight, that you've opened up your heart, that you've lent me your ears to share this space with you? What specific action are you going to take to move to that next level in your life? So those are the rules. I will unmute the call, and you can share your thoughts. And I just ask that once you speak, if you mute your phone back, so that way we are not interrupting hearing anyone else. So stand by, everyone. And then if you also want to connect with me, I will give you that information. I have some programs that are coming up and some ways that we can interact. But more importantly, I want to know what actions you're taking, because in order for us to play together, we have to work hard together. So here we go, everyone.
All callers are muted and may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
Hey, Stacie, this is Myron. I will continue to practice my skills every day, work on my skills. So.
Awesome, awesome. What skills particularly? I'm going to push you, Myron.
I'm my selling skills, you know, the way I approach it, the way I close it. I'm working on the 10,000 hour rule you talked about last, I think it was last call. And that 10,000 hour rule requires me to practice 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, and for 2 decades. It's a lock.
Awesome. I love it, Myron. That's why we appreciate your voice, so we're getting it done. See, that's the benefit of being here all the time, so you can get the add-ons in the next session. I love it. Congratulations to you, and keep on the road of mastery.
Thank you.
You are welcome. There's somebody else trying to get through. Just press *6.
Yes, Stacie, this is Alfred Johnson from Brunswick, Georgia.
Hello, Mr. Alfred Johnson. Now, this was your first time, correct?
It is my first time. I have listened many times, but I have never been eager to speak. So this time, you know, I've got something to say, I think. I've listened to you, and I enjoy you tremendously. But my goal now is to build on me. You know, I need to build me up so that I can be effective in my business. I've got a business, and I need to be effective. So for me to be effective, I have to hone my skills and just build myself.
Awesome. Well, what's one thing you're going to do?
I'm going to start reading more to build my personality, so that I can be strong enough to speak to the masses that I have to speak to.
Awesome. I love it. And I'm giving you free coaching tonight. So you're going to read something. How many hours a night? What are you going to read? You don't have to answer me now, but those are the questions that you need to keep pushing yourself so that you can hold yourself accountable to the success that's seeking you. Is that a deal?
Yes, ma'am. That's a deal.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you for being on the call and sharing your words with me.
Yes, ma'am, and thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? *6 to unmute your line.
Hi, Stacie.
Hi, who's this?
Is this me? This is Andre from Salt Lake City. How are you?
I'm excellent, Andre. How you doing?
I'm amazing tonight, and you have just lit something. It's like these sparks keep lighting up inside me whenever I listen to you speak, and it's just like, I'm on fire right now.
I love it. I love it. And you got to keep it burning. So what are you going to do?
Okay.
Tell me, Andre, specifics.
Okay.
What are you going to do tonight?
I am a photographer, and that I've got to keep up with the editing and the software, and there's all kinds of things I need to master if I want to be like the best at what I do. So tonight I am going, and I'm actually about to get on the train right now. I'm going to join a collective of photographers here in town that the whole purpose of them getting together is to help each other get better. So they've got studio space, they've got the lighting that I need and can't necessarily put together yet, and just everything that I need. And then I get to go in and I work behind a desk and I help plan events and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to initiate all that tonight. I'm on my way to do that right now.
Awesome, awesome. And you find yourself someone who is looking for a photographer. You make that your project, and you work with them, so it's a win-win. That's another free piece. You never know what you get when you come on Les Brown Motivational Monday night.
Yeah.
I will give you a bill later, but go out there and make it happen.
Can I say one more thing, Stacie?
Sure,
Can I say
Andre.
one more thing, please, real quick? Okay, thank you. Now, it just barely occurred to me to seek a mentor, to have some, to learn from somebody that does what I do. It was really bad before, and I used to just try to, you're Andre, you're smart. You can just, go to the library, read about it, figure out how to do it. And I thought that I would just read my way to, just everything. And this is exactly like it feels like the golden key right now, because that's what they're here to do. So and part of, me joining this collective is getting to actually go work with photographers and going out on concert photography, like doing the kind of thing that I want to do.
Hands
I was just trying to teach myself, and now that I look back at that would have been absolutely just madness. So,
well, that's the good news, Andre, that you realize we can't do this thing called life alone. We just can't. And we have to be able to be smart enough to ask for help to make us stronger, not because we're weak. So I appreciate you sharing that. I can't wait to hear what else happens and how you move forward. But you go on and have a great time and stay focused and connect with me. Stacie NC Grant, Stacie NC Grant. So you can tell me about the journey. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm everywhere. I'm the only Stacie NC Grant on the planet. Mark that down.
All right, Stacie. I will keep in touch.
Right.
You have thank you for the sparks in the fire. Thank you.
You are very welcome. That's what makes my joy sing and rise. So when I hear that, it makes me want to keep going. So thank you so much, Andre. And we'll see. I think we have one or two callers because I have to keep my voice a little longer to do another call right after this. So who else is there? Where are the ladies? I mean, all the men give me love. I love it. But where are my sisters at? What's going on?
Betty from Atlanta.
Betty from Atlanta, how are you?
Yes,
great to hear your voice.
Great. And you have been a great inspiration to me, and you were on point about courage, perseverance, will, and skill. And first, importantly, is to have courage. Courage to step out and to believe that you can. And once you take that first step, you'll be looking back and saying, you know what? I came from there to here. And all I had to do is take that first step and persevere, knowing that whatever comes, I can do it. No matter what storm comes, I can do it because I have the will to succeed. And I have the skill because God has given me the skill to succeed. And I thank you so much.
You are welcome, Betty. You have me stirred up. You got it all down. I love it. I love it. I love it. And that's why we do this work. So I'm so appreciative that you took that away. But, Betty, I'm not going to let you go until you tell me what action you're going to take tonight.
Well, what I like to do is do workshops. I like to encourage people. I like to give them hope. I like to, there's so much that we have inside of us to share. And it's a shame when we don't share it to others. Because what I keep reminding myself is somebody is waiting to hear me. You have something that somebody needs to hear, if it's your life experience, if it's your education, but we all have a story or stories. I have stories that I can tell that's been stored up in me, and I just have it bubbling, and it's just ready to come out.
Well, I love it. So we got to get that story out, and I'm going to announce a way that you can get that story out at a very special workshop that's happening with one of our platinum speakers. So stay tuned for that, and I will take one more caller because I have to get ready for this next call. But, Betty, your story needs to be told. That's why we do this work. Stand by for the announcement. There's some opportunities that you will enjoy and be able to really maximize from. Anyone, last caller before we close out and I give you information. Hello there.
This is Gary from Diamond Bar. How are you?
Hi, Gary. Yes, how are you, my friend? Thank you for staying on and being a part of the call.
Absolutely. I loved it. It was great. It just got me motivated all over again.
Awesome, awesome. So make sure you send an email to yes@lesbrown.com so that you can connect with him. And I'm also going to put us in record mode right now just so that I can give everybody the last set of announcements. But what are you going to do? Tell me your action for tonight.
Actually, my action was calling into the show and making contact with the people to keep me motivated and who are interested in what I'm doing.
Awesome. So you've done it, so I'm going to challenge you to find another one, but thank you so much for being...
All callers are muted.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there. I just want to make these announcements. So here's what I challenge everyone to do. Couple of things. Connect with Mr. Brown at brown.les on Facebook. If you want to contact him directly, you can send an email to yes@lesbrown.com. If you want to find out more about the Platinum Speakers, you can go to www.lesbrownplatinumspeakersnetwork.com, the acronyms for that, which is lbpsn.com, and you'll see all of us there. There's a special workshop that is going to be happening on June 26th and 27th in Moreno Valley, California, the Total Speaker Workshop. If you have a story, you want to get it out, you want to be with the Total Speaker Workshop, you can go to totalspeakerworkshop.com or text the word speaker to 55469. That's 55469. That's with Dan Smith and Dwight Pleasure. You heard them last week if you were on the call. If you want to connect with me directly and be a part of our programs and offerings that we have for this quarter, I want you to send an email to Destiny Designers University. That's all spelled out. Destiny Designers, DESIGNERS, University.com. Destiny Designers University at gmail.com, sorry. That is where our Destiny Designers University information is being updated. You can follow me, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram at Stacie NC Grant, STACIE NCGRANT, or Destiny Design U. Those are the handles on all of social media. If you want to call our office, feel free to dial 718-525-6184. And I appreciate the fact that we had this time together. Please take action tonight.